What's up, BJJ fans? And of course, the BJJ stands for Blind Judo Journey. I went to Kazakhstan for the first Paralympic Grand Prix of the Los Angeles Paralympic cycle. So I've spoken about why this was so important. Okay, it's the first comp of the cycle. Also, it's the first time we're going to be fighting at 70 kilos. If you saw last week's video, you saw that I made 70 kilos. I won't talk about it too much. Go check that video out. But I did it and I'm pretty happy with myself. So we're going to jump into the fighting at this comp. There were 6 competitors in my category. I got a bye in the first round, putting me into the semi-final. Okay, going into this, all you need to know, this guy got silver at the games in Tokyo at 66 kilos. Also around my head, I've got a strap. That's because I have a teeny tiny injury on my ear that I'll talk more about in a different video. But let's take a look at this fight.
Екінші жеңіске Серго Иванес Балонченко, Испания, 70 салмақ дәрежесінде жиекті.
So this was a fight first for me. All disappointing, I'll be honest. Obviously I lost. I was quite disappointed in one. I got thrown with Tominagi for the first time ever. Okay, first time I've ever had someone score on me with Tominagi. I tend to think of myself as being someone who's quite good at evading that throw because of my gymnastics background. I can do, cartwheels, handstands, backflips, etc. All of these allow me to evade that Tominagi, but he managed to hit it at the perfect time, just as I was coming on to him. Really quite disappointed in myself for having that score against me. Second first thing that's happened to me, first time I ever tapped to an armbar. Again, quite disappointing. That exchange was one of the longest groundwork exchange I've ever seen. However, there was continued progression. The whole time the guy was working and he was improving, it's justified by the fact he did then finish with the armbar, so fair. But it doesn't make me any less disappointed that it happened. I'm going to reflect on this fight a little bit more in a bit and reflect on the whole competition, but obviously my loss here puts him through into the final and myself dropping down into the bronze medal match, okay? In this bronze medal match, I'm fighting a Japanese guy who's just been beaten by a German. The Japanese guy, apparently in his previous fight, was absolutely winning 90% of the time, outgripping the guy, outmoving the guy, doing much higher quality judo, but he just got caught on the ground in a hold down. So sadly, we were expecting that I was going to be fighting this German, but then the German managed to get a win, deserved, but not an expected win against the Japanese, so I still could have a difficult fight on my hands, especially as we know I went to Japan in July, where I got my butt handed to me for 2 weeks straight, getting thrown by hundreds of different Japanese guys. So I'm going into this with a little bit of fear, but let's take a look at this fight.
또
Yengisiye Nils Solomon cepte Ulu Britanya 70 savunmalara cisminde ulaşıyor
And the bronze medalist in the
Boom. Okay, maybe I didn't need to be as scared. Okay, I think this fight, is mine the whole way through. I'm really happy with how I would fight in this. The judo quality, I execute my system really quite well. The guy's a lefty. I know how to fight lefties. We know I've got that drop Sinagi. I do the exact things I should be doing here. I keep pressure through his strong side, making him uncomfortable, and hitting that drop Sinagi. I think it was, the first one was obviously a good Uzari. I actually thought it was an Ippon. I think my only disappointment in myself from this fight is on that first Uzari. I kind of assumed it was Ippon, so I didn't continue, I didn't protect myself, or I didn't transition as well as I possibly could have. However, I still think, managed to defend in that position, get stood back up, re-go in, hit that second Sinagi. Second one was for Ippon as well. Just a really nice attack. Really quite proud of myself for it. That earned me bronze, which puts me at 3rd in the world.
Nils Solomon, Ulu Britanya.
The 3rd place and the bronze medal goes to Miles Solomon, representing Great Britain.
이근처 콜라지였던 지투어 사쿠라이, Japonia.
And the 2nd bronze medal goes to Tetsuya Sakurai, representing Japan.
금은실리게르 Vadim, 3rd, Moldova.
3rd in the world, guys. I'm so happy. It was a way to start this cycle. I think, this is obviously, we've got to look at this as, yes, I'm 3rd in the world because I got a bronze at this competition. However, there weren't that many people at the competition. My coach has said to me, it's really important, check your ego. This does not mean that you can go around saying you are the 3rd best in the world, okay? There are definitely people who have, went to the games, maybe didn't come to this first competition, and haven't been represented in this weight category yet. But currently, I am 3rd in the world. I don't normally try and pick myself up too much, but woo! 3rd in the world! It really means so much to me. When I came off this fight, I really just I just hugged my coach. I just wanted to cry, man. I was really worried before this fight. I was quite scared that if I lost the bronze medal match, that would have given me 5th. But because I hadn't won any fights, that meant that I would have got half points for 5th. And considering that the guy in the other bronze medal match, who lost and got 5th, he actually had won a fight earlier. He was the German who'd beaten the Japanese I just beat. So he would have gotten full 5th points. This is a bit of the logistics of it. Some of you might not care, but basically my point is, if I lost this fight, I would officially be the worst in the world. Which is one of the main drivers. Sometimes when you're fighting, obviously you want to win. Your motivation for winning is just to win and to prove yourself better, etc. But there are things in the back of your mind sometimes that are outside of that. And in this particular fight, one of the main things I stepped on the mat one of the main things I thought when I stepped on the mat is, I am not going to be the worst in the world. That will never happen. I will never be the worst in the world, on paper or any other way. So I went out there and I fought. And I think I gave a good representation of myself, British Judo, and all of my training that I've put into that moment. I'm going to talk about how I felt on the day, okay? Going in, I got an alright night's sleep, and my prep for my sleep and my nutrition was better than it was in Georgia. If you've watched the video of when I was in Georgia, I made a few mistakes there, and we learned from those. So the sleep being a really big one for me, okay? I found this fighting on the first day, particularly in the travel, it's not something I'm super used to, it's a skill I'm trying to practice. But I think I did a better job this time than I did previously. I was apprehensive. We kind of knew this Spaniard was good. I didn't realise how good he was. He did beat every other medalist at this competition. He ended up getting gold. Yeah, he was well deserved. He was very, very good. So going into that fight, I was a bit worried. A few other reasons I was quite apprehensive, things that were on my mind. The strapping on my head when we put it on. The first time I put it on quite early, and after about 2 hours of having it on, it was giving me massive pain, just huge amounts of pain. I'm someone who has quite a high pain tolerance, but I was sat there after about 2 hours on my head, grinding my teeth and trying not to make a fuss. Because on the comp day, you shouldn't be, you try not to make a fuss, you want to focus on the fight. But one of my teammates, Kirsten, was saying to me, it's like, you are not okay, you need to do something about this, which we did end up doing something about it, redid the dressing, made it much more comfortable, much less stressful, so that took that off my mind. Another massive stress on the day was that, obviously with 70 kilos being a new weight category, you'll know that in the women's side, there is also a 70 kilos, and that, the women's 70 kilos fights on the second day. So the competition organisers actually messed up and forgot that my category was meant to happen. So I'm sat there and not knowing when I'm going to fight. There wasn't the ball, we had no idea. They'd completely forgotten the entire category. We're hearing rumours from everywhere, and then we get told it's going to be after lunch, but then it ends up not being after lunch. So I was had to be ready to fight at any point. So it was like an hour I just could be on. It was quite a stressful experience for me. Again, managing stress is something that's hugely important to learn and practice. That's why we go to these competitions early on in the cycle, to give us opportunities to fail and make mistakes, so that we can learn from those. So when it really starts mattering, when that Paralympic qualification period opens up and we get closer to the games, then we're not making those mistakes, we're making good decisions, and we're managing stress well, we're managing sleep well, we're managing nutrition well. Also, after that first fight, I was a bit disappointed, obviously with losing, not just in the loss, but I think the way I lost just wasn't great. It wasn't the best representation of my judo, and that could be for a few different reasons, I don't really know. I think genuinely it's just a bit of psychology. I just didn't feel great, just didn't feel super ready for it. Over lunch that day, before the bronze, I was then sat there, again disappointing myself, but I spoke to some people, I spoke to my dad, and my dad said what he says to me every single time, one of the most important pieces of advice that he gives me every time. My dad doesn't really know much about judo, but he's seen me at competitions, he's seen how I act, and he says, doesn't matter about the last fight, the only fight you need to worry about is the next fight. The next time you step on the mat, that's when you need to focus. That's what we're focused on. So get out of your head, get out what you were thinking about. The last fight didn't go as well as it could have. You need to get your chest up, head up, get yourself hyped, okay? Get yourself ready for that fight. He said that to me. I went away, I thought about this, and I went, okay, because I actually had a bit of a sleep between. I was a bit tired, so I had about 20 minutes, half an hour sleep. I got up and I went, okay, new moment, okay? It's an afternoon, it's a different fight, it's a new person. We're gonna go in, we're gonna fight here. So I put some music in. I'm a big fan of drum and bass. Put some music in, I ran out on the mat a bit, I bounced up and down, and I really got myself in the game, ready to fight, okay, ready to rock. And hey, some of the rest of the team are saying, Miles, why are you raving? I'm just jumping around, enjoying myself, listening to that music, but it really helped me get into that fight mode, ready to compete. Also, one of the coaches, Ian Johns, took me aside at one point and he said, you deserve this, you've worked for this, okay? You're gonna go out there and you're gonna absolutely smash all of the training that goes into this, because you think on the day, you think it's just that fight that's what's gone into it, and it's not. It's the years of going to competitions, of training, of injuries, of nutrition. When he said to me, the thing that really stuck with me, he said 2 years ago, he said to me, go to as many competitions as you possibly can, compete as much as you can. I think that, if you watch my channel, which hopefully you all do, please make sure to like and subscribe, guys. It really helps the channel. I want to try and hit 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Also, check out merch, Blind Judo Journey. Get in contact, blindjudojourney@gmail.com. I answer all the emails that come through, even if they're not about merch. If it's about being blind, about jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, about judo, anything, competitions, whatever you want, please get in contact with me. I absolutely love being contacted by fans. Back to what I was talking about. But yeah, if you watch my channel, you see I go to as many competitions as I possibly can. I compete, you know, every other week, every 3 weeks, something like that. It's a really big part of my life as well. You know, get myself to 70 kilos, get myself to a weight where I was able to fight in this category. It was hard, really hard, but I put so much effort into it. You know, I missed social occasions, I ate chicken and rice for weeks on end, but it was worth it, okay, because of that moment where you go out there and you know, the first time I threw the guy from Lazaro, I knew I was going to win that fight. It's a bit of a scary moment because you're like, I knew that Sianagi was going to work, it was going to go again. Then you're just terrified, just don't mess up, just don't mess up. And then you start thinking, should I do something different? Should I be more careful or anything like this? No. As my coach Chris Barry said, he said, don't do anything different. That worked, do it again. And that's exactly what I was thinking when I was fighting him. I just gotta set it up, create that pressure. I actually taught yesterday a session on that exact throw, that Sianagi, where you keep the pressure down and you release that, boom, ippon. If you want to see a video on that particular version of my Sianagi, drop it in the comments. I'll try and make a tutorial on the way that I do that version of Sianagi. Yeah, I think I can talk forever about this. I'm so happy. Like, it's not just culminating in this, you know, it's not all the efforts come through to this moment, but this is how we're going to start off the Los Angeles Paralympic cycle. We're going to go to more competition, we're going to win more medals, and we're going to prove that we as a nation, British Judo, train harder and professional as we possibly can be. I've learned a huge amount about professional behaviours. There'll be a video on that coming at some point. What are professional behaviours? But I've learned so much from the rest of the team. Thanks so much to the team as well. They were absolutely brilliant whilst I was out there. Definitely my best experience, best competition from like just my enjoyment of the experience. The team were really supportive. I felt myself, you know, at the moment I stepped off and I knew I won my medal. Evan was going to fight about 3 fights later. So the first thing I said, you know, got the medal, said high five to everyone, and I said to Evan, it's like, Ev, if you need to use me to warm up, then like 100% I'm right here, ready for you, because the moment I've, you know, gone off and done my job and got my medal, my job from then on is to support the rest of the team and try and help the rest of the fighters, that being Jack, Evan and Kirsten, to do as well as they possibly can at the competition as well. And that sort of team spirit is a real important thing to me. I absolutely love doing. Other than that, the competition was brilliant. It was amazing. I think that there were things I could improve on. Things I could improve on definitely will be my nutrition post weigh-in. Okay, you know, I'm getting 70 kilos is a huge deal for me. So kind of, to be fair, as soon as I hit 70 kilos, that moment of, oh my gosh, I can eat chocolate happened, and I definitely went too overboard on sort of the, you know, confectionaries. I also found out, like, I scoffed a sandwich immediately, which is something that I would normally do at a competition, but the sort of bread that we have in Britain, you know, I'd have like a meal deal sandwich, quite fluffy white loaf, not a huge amount of bread, but it's good, isn't the sort of bread they have out in Kazakhstan. I ended up having like a really dense loaf that just ended up sitting in my stomach and like not really giving me the energy that I probably should have been getting from it. That was a huge sort of thing to learn. Food on competition day as well, we learned things about that, what you eat. Sometimes you don't necessarily eat the food that is provided at the competitions because it's all a bit, you know, stuff that your body isn't as used to seeing. There was some soup that was questionable and other things like that. But I think as well on the competition, I had a brilliant time, an amazing time, to be fair. I'm so proud. I will say there were, you know, other things that we could have done better, things that we learnt. One of the main things that I learnt, I'm not someone who gets ill very regularly. I think the last time I was genuinely ill was about 10 years ago. However, I did get food poisoning at this competition. I don't know what it was from, but I was very, very ill, and that food poisoning actually did begin to show itself like on competition day, and that was something that was quite difficult to manage. I kind of misconstrued it as stress and anxiety, which probably was as well, but yeah, also just being ill was like not a fun experience. However, we managed to get through it, you know. But basically, a huge thanks to everyone on the team, Kirsten, Evan, Jack, Ian Johns, Chris Barry, all of these people, you know, helped me get, you know, this medal. Congratulations to Evan getting his first gold at a Grand Prix at 81 kilos, starting off the cycle amazingly. Jack and Kirsten both taking silvers. I can't wait to be part of this team and continue into the future. win more medals. The next competition will be the German Open in the end of February. Really looking forward to that. I think that'll be a great opportunity. Hopefully try and get another medal, maybe get myself to second in the world. Yeah, so what a brilliant experience. What a great way to start the Los Angeles Paralympic cycle. If you want to follow me on my blind judo journey into international visually impaired judo, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Soramade.